Hello viewers, this is Mr. Umala Frederick, job, a teacher at JM Obida, Gemiala Sub-County in Siaya County. So today we are going to learn mathematics. So mathematics is our subject area. The topic or the strand of today is measurement. Measurement is our strand today. Then our sub-strand will be circumference of a circle. Circumference of a circle. So I expect the learners who are viewing from whichever place they are, that by the end of this lesson, they will be in a position to define what circumference is, and more so, they will be in a position to calculate the circumference of a circle, the circumference of a semicircle, and finally the circumference of an arc of a circle correctly. So stay tuned and welcome. What is circumference? Circumference is the distance around the curved part of a circle. Circumference is the distance around the curved part of a circle. Or we can say it is the distance around a circle. It is the distance around a circle. If we move to the next slide, we have a figure of a rectangle. The figure is rectangular in shape. So on our slide, we have the length of the rectangle, and we also have the width of the rectangle. So when the rectangle is folded, it makes a cylinder. And the cylinder will have a circular top and also a circular bottom. I have a rectangular piece of paper with me. This is the length and this is the width. Let me now fold it. Let me now fold it. You can all see that it forms a cylinder. You can all see that it forms a cylinder. And the cylinder has a round top and it has the circular bottom. The circular top, when we open, forms our length. And that is the reason as to why we were defining the circumference as the distance around a circle, or the length of the curved part. I repeat, I have with me a rectangular piece of paper. This rectangular piece of paper has the length. It also has the width. When we fold it, it will form a cylinder. As you can see, the length forms a circle. It has formed a circle. So the top of the cylinder is circular, and the bottom part of the cylinder is circular. And that is the reason as to why we defined the circumference as the distance around a circle, or the length around that curved part. Let's move on to the next slide, where we have a circle. We have a circle. On our circle, we are saying that that circular figure, let me just draw for us to say properly. So this is this the circumference will be this distance around the circular part. That will be our circumference. With me, I have the same circular paper. So when this circle is folded at the center, the way I will do, let me fold this one of mine. I'm folding the circular paper into two equal parts, and underline the word equal parts, so that the line in the middle passes directly at the center. So they have folded. The line passing at the center is known as the diameter. So there will be a line that will be passing directly at the center. After folding, when you fold it, you will have an image of that kind. So this line that passes directly at the center is diameter. That line is known as the diameter. So diameter, therefore, is a line that runs from the circumference, passing through the center of the circle to the other arc of the circle. Let me repeat. I have a circle with me. I have a circular paper with me that I'm using as my teaching aid. Circular piece of paper, when I fold it into two equal parts, there will be a line that will be passing directly in the middle. And that's why I'm saying that the line that passes directly at the center of this circle, as you can see, is known as the diameter. That is known as the diameter. So the diameter is a line that divides a circle into two equal parts. Diameter is also divided into two. So from one arc to the center, from this point of the arc to the center is the radius, And from the center to the other arc is also radius. And therefore, diameter is equals to 2r. R plus r. Diameter. Or 2r, where r is our radius. 2 radius will give us a diameter. Ladies and gentlemen, let's now move to our formula of finding the circumference. So whenever you multiply the diameter by 22/7, you will get the circumference. And therefore we can say circumference will be equals to 22/7 times diameter. Where 22 in our case is denoted by pi. Pi in this case will be represented by 22/7. Pi is a mathematical constant that is used in maths. It is the ratio of the circumference of the circle to the diameter. And this now will propel us to this formula that circumference will be equals to pi d. Circumference will be equals to pi d, where pi equals to 22/7, d represents the diameter. D represents the diameter. Let me repeat that point once again. The formula for finding the circumference of a circle is given by pi d. And pi, we have said, is equals to 22/7. This 22/7 is a mathematical constant. Someone will ask me that why are you using 22/7? 22/7 is a mathematical constant. That is, it is the ratio of the circumference of a circle to the diameter. So that is where our 22/7, which is denoted by pi, originated from. Now, let's move to our example. We are going to look at one of the examples. Example 1. Example 1. Find the circumference of a circle with the diameter of 10.5 centimeters. Find the circumference of a circle of diameter 10.5 centimeters. So that is our diagram. That is our circle. The diameter is given as 10.5 centimeters. So very fast, you shall go straight to our formula of finding the circumference. And I said that the formula for finding the circumference of a circle is equals to pi d. Circumference is equals to pi d. So circumference therefore will be equals to 22 over 7. When I write 22 over 7, I believe you all know what 22 over 7 represents. It represents pi, then times d. D is represented, D represents our diameter, the diameter of a circle. In our case, our diameter is 10.5 centimeters. So 10.5 centimeters. And being that we are working the length, we are working the distance, which is our circumference. Everything now will be in centimeters. 7 will go into 7 once, into 10 once. We put our decimal point, remainder 3 into 35 5 times. So we have 22 and 1.5. So therefore we shall multiply 22 by 1.5. 22, and when we are multiplying a number with a number that has a decimal point, we assume the decimal point, but we shall introduce it later in our answer. So let's start. This 2 times 5, 10. We carry 1. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1, 11. Then 1 times 2 will be 2. 1 times 2 will be 2. We add them. 0, 3, 3. And remember, we had a decimal point. Now we introduce the 1 decimal point into the answer. So we move it from the right. There we are. So our circumference, fellow viewers, will be equals to 33 centimeters. 33 centimeters. Let me just repeat that process. We are given a circle of diameter 10.5 centimeters. Our formula for finding the circumference of a circle is equals to pi d. And therefore, circumference will be equals to 22 over 7 times diameter, which is 10.5. So 22 over 7 times 10.5. 7 goes into 7 once, into 10 1 times. Remainder 3, we put our decimal point. 35, 7 will go in 35 5 times. So we have 22. When we multiply by 1.5, and when we are multiplying 22 by 1.5, we shall assume the decimal point, and we'll introduce it later. So therefore we proceed to multiply 22 by 15. 2 times 5, 0. 10, so we write 0, we carry 1. 2 times 5, 10, plus 1, 11. Then 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 2, 2. Then we get our answer as 33. We are moving on to the next example. Example 2. Example 2. In our example 2, So we have example 2. Find the circumference of the circle whose diameter is 4.9. So we have our circle. There we are. The diameter of the circle is now 4.9 centimeters. The diameter of the circle is 4.9 centimeters. So we are going to follow the same procedure. Our formula will still remain the same. Circumference is equals to pi d. Circumference is equals to pi d. So circumference, which is denoted by letter C, in our case, will be equals to 22/7, which is our pi, multiplied by diameter, and in our case, our diameter is 4.9. All are in centimeters. Circumference is equals to pi d, where C denotes our circumference and our pi is denoted by 22/7. Diameter we are given as 4.9. Straight away we move to the calculation. 7 will go into 7 once. Into 4, 0 times. We will introduce our decimal point up there. Then into 49, it goes there 7 times. So we have 22. We are going to multiply by 0.7. And as I said earlier, whenever we are multiplying, we make sure that we assume the decimal point and we introduce it later on in the answer that we shall get. So 22 multiplied by 7. 7 times 2, 14. We carry 1. 7 times 2 on the other side is 14. When we add to 1 that we carried, will give us 154. And remember, we had 1 decimal place. So the 1 decimal place, we introduce it from the right. So there we are. So our circumference will be equals to 15.4 centimeters. Our circumference will be equals to 15.4 centimeters. Once again, let me repeat the procedure that we have followed to work out this problem. We were given a circle, and the circle had a diameter of 4.9 centimeters. Solution: when you're working out this, the formula for finding the circumference of a circle is given as pi d, where pi is 22/7, and 22/7, I said earlier that it is a constant, mathematical constant. It shall be used the way it is. And in some problems where the diameter is not divisible by 7, in some cases we are going to use pi as 3.142. At some cases, when you come across a problem where the diameter is not divisible by 7, you are allowed to use 3.142. But in our case, we are going to use 22/7. So 22/7 times 4.9. 7 will go into 7 once, into 4, 0. We put our decimal point there, into 49, 7 times. So we have 22 supposed to be multiplied by 0.7. And I said earlier that you are multiplying, you assume the decimal point and introduce it later on in the answer that you will get. So we have our 22. When we multiply by 7, 2 multiplied by 7 is 14. We carry 1. 2 multiplied by 7, 14. When we add 2, 1, we get 15. And when we introduce, we had one decimal place, we introduce it from the right. So when we introduce it, we shall get our circumference of this given circle as 15.4 centimeters. Allow me now to move to the next example, that is example 3. We are moving on to the next example, that is example 3. So in our example 3, we have the diameter of a wheel. The diameter of a wheel is 49 centimeters. Find the circumference of the wheel. So we have our wheel there. Our wheel is circular in shape. The wheel is circular in shape. So we are given the diameter of the wheel to be 49 centimeters. That is the diameter of that wheel. We are expected to get or to calculate the circumference of the wheel. Now let us work it out. Circumference of the wheel itself is circular in nature. So that's the reason as to why we are going to use the formula of finding the circumference of a circle to get the length or the distance of the wheel, the length of the wheel. So circumference will be equals to pi d. Circumference is equals to pi d. C is our circumference. This is our pi, and the power pi is 22/7, and d is the diameter. Therefore, circumference will be equals to 22/7 times our diameter, which is 49. The units is centimeters. Circumference, therefore, let's work out 7 into 7 once, into 49 7 times. So we have 22 times 7. 22 multiplied by 7. 2 times 7 is 14. We carry 1. Then 2 by 7 is 14 plus 1, we get 15. So we therefore have our circumference as 154 centimeters as the circumference of the wheel. Let me repeat. We were told to get the circumference of the wheel, and the wheel had a diameter of 49 centimeters. The wheel itself is circular in nature, and that's the reason as to why we are going to use the formula of our circumference to be pi d. So circumference is equals to pi d. Pi is 22/7. We multiply by diameter, which is 49, and 7 will go into 7 once, into 49 7 times. So when you multiply 22 by 7, 22 multiplied by 7, 2 times 7 is 14. We carry 1. 2 times 7 again will be 14. When you add to 1 that was carried, we get 154. And that lands us to the answer as 154 centimeters as the circumference. Okay. Now, we are moving on to the next. We are moving on to the next example. Next example, and we have example 4. Example 4. In our example 4, we have the length of the minute hand. The length of the minute hand of a wall clock is 7.7 centimeters. So we have a clock, wall clock. Let me draw it. Our wall clocks are always circular in shape. So the length of the minute hand. So we have the minute hand. Let me just draw the minute hand. And our minute hand is usually longer than the hour hand. Our minute hand is usually longer than the hour hand. So they are saying the length of the minute hand of a wall clock is 7.7 centimeters. Calculate the distance traced by the tip of the minute hand in 1 hour. Calculate the distance traced by the minute hand in 1 hour. You will all agree with me that whenever our minute hand tickles around up to where it started, it will have covered 60 minutes. And the 60 minutes is the same as 1 hour. And also our learners, the minute hand in our case represents the radius. The minute hand in our case will represent the radius of our circle. So as the minute hand moves, the tip of the minute hand will be tracing, there will be a path. This is the path. The path that will be traced by the minute hand around the circle up to the point it started. So the minute hand will have made a circular path. So they expect us to calculate the distance traced by the tip of the minute hand. The distance traced by the tip of the minute hand. What are they asking us to get? They are asking us to find the circumference, in other words. Because earlier on, I said that circumference is the distance around the curved part, or the distance around a circle. Our formula for finding the circumference of a circle is given as pi d. Circumference is equals to pi d. So circumference therefore will be equals to 22 over 7 times diameter. What is our diameter now? We are given the radius as 7.7, and earlier on I said diameter is equals to 2r. So whenever you are given diameter, whenever you are given radius rather, you must make sure that you multiply the radius that you are given by 2 so that you get your diameter. So our radius is 7.7. So when we multiply 7.7 by 2, we shall get our diameter as, let's work it out, 22, not 22, we have 77, we have dropped the decimal point. Let's multiply by 2. The 7 times 2, 14. We carry 1. 7 times 2, 14 plus 1, 15. Let's introduce our decimal point. There we are. So our diameter will be 15.4 centimeters. So back to our functional, back to our formula. Circumference equals to pi d, where our pi is 22 over 7. By now our diameter 15.4. 7 will go into 7 once. 7 will go into 15 2 times, which gives us 14. Remainder 1, put our decimal. Now 1, we call it now 14 into 14, 2. So we have 22 times 2.2. So we drop the decimal, or we assume the decimal, and multiply 22 by 22. So 2 times 2, 4. 2 times 2, 4. 2 times 2 on this side is 4. 2 times 2, 4. So when we add all those, shall have 4, 8, 4. We introduce our decimal point. There we are. So we shall have 48.4 centimeters as our circumference. 48.4 centimeters. So that is one method of calculating the circumference. Or you can as well calculate the circumference using another formula, being that you are given the radius. So our circumference, let's treat this as a method 2, and treat the first one as our method 1. So in our method 2, we are now going to use the radius, and therefore we are going to say that circumference, we are now going to say that circumference will be equals to 2 pi r. 2 pi r. Where is this 2r coming from? It originates from the formula that I gave earlier, that diameter is equals to 2r. Radius plus radius. Radius plus radius gives us 2r. And therefore, when you are introducing 2r in this formula, the number comes first. So, and that's the reason as to why we shall have 2 pi r as the formula, the second formula that we are using to calculate the same question. So therefore, circumference will be equals to 2 times pi, which is 22/7, and times the radius. Our radius, in our case there, the minute hand was 7.7. 7.7. Let's work it out together. The units, centimeters. So 7 into 7 once, into 7 once, put our decimal, into the other 7 1. So we have 2 times 22 times 1.1. So let's work out that and see what we are going to get. 2 multiplied by 22 is 44. 44 multiplied by 11, because we've assumed the decimal point. So 1 times 4, 4. 1 times 4, 4. This 1 times 4, 4. And 1 times 4, the other side is 4. So when we add all this, we shall have 4, 8, and 4. So 484. When introduce the 1 decimal place, we shall have 48.4 centimeters as the circumference of the path or the distance that was traced by the minute hand. 48.4 is the distance that was traced by the minute hand. So as you can all see, the method 1 gave us 48.4, and our method 2 also gave us 48.4 centimeters as the circumference. Okay, now we are moving on to the next thing. Let's move on now to the length of an arc. Length of an arc. Length of an arc of a circle. An arc is part of a circumference. An arc is part of a circumference of a circle. The length of the arc may subtend. Maybe let's talk of this as our arc. The length of that arc may subtend a given angle to the center of the circle. This is the center of the circle. So this arc may subtend 60. Okay, this arc may subtend, rather, let me not give it 60 degrees, we give it angle theta. The length of the arc subtends angle theta through the radius. How then do we go about such problem whenever you are asked to find the circumference? So when you are given the arc and you are asked to find the circumference, this is what you are going to do. Circumference of the arc will be equals to theta over 360 theta over 360 times 2 pi r. Theta over 360 times 2 pi r, because this angle is subtended at the center by the given radius. Allow me now to look at one of the example. Example 1. Example 1. Find the length of the arc of radius 7 centimeters and subtends an angle of 180 degrees. We have an arc that subtends an angle of 180 degrees. 180 degrees, that is an angle on a straight line. In other words, they had given us a semicircle. A semicircle is a figure that is subtended by this arc by an angle of 180 degrees. So whenever you are given this, very first, draw it and come up with a figure. Know what angle is subtended at the center, and straight away move to the working. So our formula for finding the circumference of a circle whenever you are given an arc is theta over 360 times 2 pi r. And we were given the radius to be 7 centimeters. So circumference therefore will be equals to theta. Our angle theta is 180 degrees over 360 times 2 times pi. Our pi is 22 over 7, then times the radius, which is 7. So we work out 0 into 0. 0 will cancel the upper 0 and the lower 0, in the 0 in the numerator and the 0 in the denominator. 18 into 18 once, into 36 2. Then 2 into 2 once, into 2 1. 7 into 7 once, into 7 1. So we are left with 22 to be the circumference of the arc, 22 centimeters. So the circumference of our arc is 22 centimeters. And the arc that we were given has formed a semicircle. At one point, a semicircle, or the circumference of a semicircle, will be found by the formula a half 2 pi r. So this a half has come from 180 over 360. So when you work it out, you will get this half. So this is the origin of the half. These two originates from the two radius that we have. Two radius. And our pi, as I said earlier, is the mathematical constant. The mathematical constant. Let's move on to the next example. Our example 2. Our example 2. Example 2, an arc of a circle. An arc of subtends an angle of 60 degrees. An arc of a circle of radius 21 centimeters subtends an angle of 60 degrees. Example 2, we have an arc. That is our arc. And the arc subtends an angle of 60 degrees to the center with a radius of 21 centimeters. So the radius is 21 centimeters. Radius 21 centimeters. So this is the arc. Solution. How do we work out this? The formula of our circumference for the circumference of an arc, we said earlier, is given by theta over 360 times 2 pi r. Theta over 360 times 2 pi r. So this theta will be represented by the angle that is subtended at the center by the arc of the radius 21 centimeters. Our pi we all know as 22/7, and the radius in this case is given as 21. So we continue. The circumference therefore will be equals to theta, which is 60 over 360 times 2 times pi, and our pi is 22/7, then times radius. Our radius is 21. Everything should be in centimeters. Now 0 on the numerator side will cancel the 0 in the denominator side. 6 into 6 once, into 36 6 times. Then we have 2 into 2 once, into 6 3 times. 3 into 3 once, into 21 7 times. Then finally 7 into 7 once, into 7 once. We are left with 22. So circumference therefore will be equals to 22 centimeters. That is the circumference of this arc that was subtended to the center by the radius of 21 at an angle of 60 degrees. Let me repeat the working briefly. We said the formula for finding the circumference of this arc will be equals to theta over 360 times 2 pi r, where theta is 60 over 360 times 2, then times 22/7, and times 21, which is our radius. When we work out all this, we get 22 centimeters as the circumference. And finally, we are going to look at our last example. Our last example. So we have our example 3. Example 3, we shall work it very fast. Find the length of the arc. Find the length of the arc of the diagram shown. So this is the diagram. That is our arc. Radius is 3.5 centimeters, and the angle that is obtended is 45 degrees. So, solution. Circumference will be equals to pi theta over 360 times 2 pi r. Circumference, therefore, will be theta, in our case, is 45 degrees over 360. We multiply by 2. Pi is 22 over 7. Then the radius, in our case, is 3.5 centimeters. Let's work out this. 9 into 45, 5 times. 9 into 36, 4. Then 5 into 5, 1 into 40, 8. 2 into 2, 1 into 8, 4. Then 2 into 4, 2 into 22, 11. 7 into 7 once, into 3, 0, then 35. So we have 0.5. So we have 11. We are going to multiply by 0.5. Then denominator, we are left with 2. So very fast, let's multiply this. 5, 5. So we have 5.5. 5.5 over 2. Don't forget that 2. So 2 into 2, once, into 5, 2, which brings 4. Remainder 1 into 15, 7, then into 10, 5. So we have our circumference as 2.75 centimeters. 2.75 centimeters. Let me just repeat that process once again briefly. We were given this arc, and the arc subtends an angle of 45 degrees to the center by the radius of 3.5 centimeters. So the formula for finding the circumference of the arc is theta over 360 times pi r, 2 pi r, where we had 45 over 360 multiplied by 2 times 22 over 7, which was pi, and times 3.5. So when we work out all this, we got 5.5 over 2, and 2 went into 5.5, 2 times, then 7 times. So we had our 2.75 centimeters as the circumference of the arc. So ladies and gentlemen, our learners who are watching us, today we have learned our measurements, and under the measurements we were looking at the circumference of a circle, and we said the formula finding the circumference of a circle is pi d, where pi in our case was denoted by 22 over 7, and diameter is the distance that passes through the center of the circle. Thank you very much, our learners who are viewing us from whichever point that they were in. Next time, I believe we shall learn more. Welcome one, welcome on to our next lesson. And I believe all shall be well. As I said earlier, I am Mr. Umala Frederick, a teacher from JM Obida. JM Obida is found in Gemiala Sub-County, Siaya County. Thank you very much.